Hi guys, hi beautiful people. I especially welcome you all to your favorite vegetarians channel, Macoms Veg Kitchen. How are you guys doing? I trust we are all blessed and in good shape. I'm back again with a delicious recipe and it's roasted Wrewre groundnut soup. Let's get right into it. For the ingredients, I have cheese curd, also known as wagashi, red and green habaneros, 1 large tomato, onion, ginger and garlic, flour curd, mushrooms, my Wrewre seeds. I've also got tofu and white mushrooms, tomato paste, cabbage, garden eggs, my mixed veg spices, and peanut butter paste. I start off by soaking my mushrooms to make it soft. These types lower sodium intake and promote lower cholesterol. It also protects brain health, provides a source of vitamin D, stimulates a healthier gut, and supports a healthy immune system. I start off by washing my Wrewre seeds. I'm doing so to remove every dust and all unwanted other seeds from it. So I wash it thoroughly and then with a sieve I'm going to drain it. After draining it, I'm going to repeat the process again. I wash it with my hand thoroughly and then I drain it for the second time. I repeat it for the third time to be sure I am doing it so well because we do not want any impurities in our food. Right after washing it for the third time, I'm going to spread it on a baking pan. I spread it out because we are going to be roasting it. So I spread it out beautifully as it's about to be roasted. Then into my oven of about 180 degrees, I put it in and then I'm going to let it sit in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then to boiling of my red habaneros, into a fine pot, I added my red habaneros, added some water and then covered it to boil. Then straight to seasoning of my protein. So into my fine pot, I add my flour curd. I also go in with my cheese curd. I'm going to be seasoning this so it can be juicy and tasty. I also go in with my green habaneros and then I'm going to add my tomato as well, just 1 large tomato. And with my mixed veg spices, I season it, or I add just a teaspoonful. Then I also add my tomato paste, about 1 tablespoonful. Then I go in with just a little bit of water. I cover it and let it sit. I would want the proteins to be well marinated and juicy. I chop up my onions into just fine cubes. I added it to my blender. I also chop up some garlic and ginger. As you know, we season with this delicious ginger garlic onions to make our food tasty. So right after chopping it up, I added it to the blender and I'm going to set it to blend. I go in with just a little water to aid the blending process. I then check on my Wrewre seeds and I can see it's not perfectly roasted how I wanted, so I stir it up and then give it some extra time to finish the roasting process. Now to seasoning of my mushroom. At this point it's so tender, so I take it out of the water, I squeeze the water out of it and add it to my pot. I'm going to marinate it with my blended ginger, garlic and onions. I added that in just a little bit of water. I give it a good mix, and I'm going to add just about a teaspoonful of my mixed veg spices. Right after adding it, I do want to give it a good stir and onto the fire to cook. So my mushroom is on fire at this point, and also my cheese curd, my marinated cheese curd, I also do want to mix it all up and then bring it to a boil. And at this point, I'm going to let it cook for about 5 minutes before I get to check up on it. After about 5 minutes, I check on my proteins. As you can see, my wagashi and flour curd is almost cooked, so I go in with my blended onions, ginger, garlic to give it extra spice. Right after adding it, I do want to give it a good stir, and then I'm going to let it cook for some extra minutes. Then I check on my mushrooms as well, and it has soaked the seasoning and it's so soft at this point. It's juicy, so I'm going to let it also sit for some extra minute. And my red habaneros are perfectly cooked, so I take it off fire. I open up my red habaneros for it to cool off a bit because we are going to be blending it. After about 2 minutes, as it has cooled off, I add it to my blender, add just a little bit of water to make the blending process so smooth, and then I'm going to set it to blend. I get to check on my proteins, and as you can see, it's coming out nice, it's juicy, it's just perfectly cooked. So I cover it, and then I'm going to blend the pepper and get back to add it. I check on my mushrooms as well, and it's soaking all the marinade or the seasoning. It's soft and tender. I'm done blending the red habaneros at this point. It was so thick, so I go in with just a little bit of water, and then I add it to my proteins on fire with a sieve. As you already know, I do not want the chaff or the seeds in my soup, so I added it and I gave it a good stir. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for some extra minutes. I get to check on my Wrewre seeds, and just using my spoon to mix it all up, I realized it's perfectly roasted at this point, so I take it off the oven and then I set it to cool off. Just look at how beautiful it came out. Right after cooling off, I'm going to blend it, so I put it in the blender, add just a little bit of water, and then I'm going to set it to blend until I have a very smooth paste or perfect consistency. Right after blending, I'm going to sieve it as well. So with the sieve, I pour it into it, and then I'm going to use my spoon to try to get all the juices or the liquid out of it. Just as you can see in the video, I use my spatula to mix it up. By so doing, I get the juice out. When I have a thick paste, I go in with just a little bit of water and repeat the process. Right when I'm done getting out all the juices and then I have the chaff remaining, I am going to blend the chaff as well. Over here we do not waste any ingredients at all, so I added the chaff to the blender, going with just a little bit of water, and then I blend it to get the remaining chaff into a smooth paste. So there you have it. I'm going to repeat the same process I did earlier to get out all the juices, and then I set aside. I get to check on my proteins. I give it a good mix, and I'm going to introduce my Wrewre to the proteins. So with a sieve, I added my Wrewre, and then I'm going to sieve it beautifully, and just look at how it came out, looking so juicy and so thick. I do want to mix it all up, and then the chaff remaining, as you already know, I added just a little bit of water to get all the juices out of it. and I'm going to use that juice to blend my peanut butter. So I added the peanut butter and then going with just a little bit of water, and I set to blend. Right after blending, I added the peanut butter to my Wrewre and then add just a little bit of water. The water will depend on the thickness or the consistency, however you want it. And then at this point, I'm going to add my white mushrooms and I cover it up to complete the cooking process. After about 5 to 10 minutes, I get to add the mushrooms, the bigger mushrooms, and then I chop up some garden eggs and also add it to it. I give it a good stir and then I cover it to continue the cooking process. After some minutes, I get to check on it and we're almost getting there. It smells so good. So I go in with my cabbage at this point and just look at that. We are done, guys. I just let it sit and cook for some extra minutes and food will be ready in no time. I get back after some 5 minutes and my Wrewre soup is ready. Just look at how it came out so beautifully. Roasted Wrewre Groundnut Soup, so delicious. And you already know I'm pairing this with fufu, 2 big bowls of fufu. I get to plate it in our local asanka, and today we are eating as a family because this is a hit. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you loved it, do well to give it a big thumbs up as it helps the channel grow. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Share this beautiful video with your friends, family, contacts, everyone, and let them know that vegetarian meals, as I always say, are not boring at all. I totally enjoyed this with my family. We loved it and we are definitely going to do it again and again and again. Until I see you in my next one, guys, stay beautiful, stay positive. Bye, guys.